Alright, so this is the Crossy Road Marathon. Let me just start this up and I'll explain what I'm doing. Alright, so the idea here is that I'm going to get 100 points with 100 characters in Crossy Road. And the rules, as I've set them, since this isn't actually a thing, is to get to 100 points and then kill myself. And if I die before reaching 100, I just have to start over with that same character. There's no penalty except for the time penalty of having to start over with the same character. And yeah, this is kind of an outgrowth of an idea I had. I'd been playing a lot of Crossy Road, so that's character 1. And it's fun to play the game the way it's meant to be played, getting the high score, but after a while that gets a little tedious. So I was experimenting with trying to do speed runs. How fast can I get to 100 or 200, 500, whatever. And the problem with trying to do a speed run to 100 is that it's based a lot on luck. What kind of Crossroads all randomly generated, so sometimes you'll get a run where you can go very quickly just because everything lines up perfectly. So I figured, well, you have to do maybe 5 or 10 to kind of average them out. I know I've never been involved with the Rubik's Cube scene, but I know they do something similar. They do 5 or 10 runs and then average out the times. So this is kind of that. So yeah, I'm going to do, like I said, 100 characters. I'm just going left to right in the character selection screen. So I started with chicken. Last one was, I think, festive chicken, Christmas chicken, I don't remember. And this is fortune chicken. So the way the characters are ordered, or at least on the iOS version, I'm playing on an iPhone right now, is that the first characters you see are the chickens. The original chicken is one of the ones that came with the release of the game, and then some of the expansions, some of the updates, have had other types of chickens. So this one here was, I think, for the, I want to say, the Chinese New Year expansion. Festive chicken, I don't even remember. Alright. What's next? Soul chicken. This was part of the Korean update. You can see the text there is in Korean. This is also the update that had Psy, the first new game mode, which I don't actually really like the Psy game mode. I do have a high score video posted on my account. The reason I don't like it is because the winning strategy is to play as slowly as possible. Because the way Psy is scored is that it's the amount of time you spend on the dance floor, and the game is easier the earlier you are in the game, so you want to go slowly as possible to have the easiest map possible. The flip side of that is the Pac Man game. So this is Pac Chicken, but part of this was you can play as Pac Man, and it's a new set of rules, and I really like that because the strategy there is to go as fast as possible. Once you get the one of the big dots where you can eat ghosts, you want to race through as fast as possible. But all the other characters in the Pac Man expansion are the normal game, except just with this different look here, kind of a Pac Man look. Yeah. And again, deaths, there's no real penalty for dying on my 6th character. Yeah, there's no penalty for dying except for the time penalty, but hopefully I keep that to a minimum. I've done this once before, I didn't record it, and I think I died 16 or 17 times. The way this usually works out, I've actually done it a couple times. I start out really strong, and then as time goes on, This takes usually just under 2 hours. By the end, I'm kind of fatigued, get a little sloppy, so I'll probably die more closer I get to 100. But doing good so far. I'm proud of myself. So this is the mallard. So we're in. These are. Once you get through the chickens, you get into the block of characters that came with the original release of the game. It's the same look and feel as the basic chicken. There's quite a few of these. Yeah. I guess to fill time, I can talk a little bit about strategy I follow. So as you can see, my high score currently is just over 1400. Unfortunately, I did try to record that run, but I was recording using Every Play, which is the built-in video capture that comes with the iOS version. It might come with the Android version. I don't know. Never played it. But there's a maximum video length, and once you get up to playing 14, or once you get up to scores of 1400, it takes almost 15 minutes to do. So I didn't save the video, unfortunately. So my high score video right now is, I think, 1250 something. So I usually, if I do break 1,000, I'm usually near the top of at least legitimate high scores on the high scores on the iOS game app. So hopefully I know what I'm talking about. All right. Unfortunately, unlike a lot of other games, there's not a ton of strategy that goes into this. It's really just a matter of playing a lot, practicing, and kind of recognizing gaps. Getting a feel for when you can race through a section, when you need to wait. But there are some things that you can do to help yourself, and I guess the most basic thing, and you might be noticing that I'm doing it, is to stay in the middle column. So stay in the middle of the map. See right there, I recentered. And there's a couple reasons for that. First is that the center column is always going to be safe, or it's going to be something you can... there's never going to be an obstacle there. So that's good to know. If you're racing through a really crowded road, you know that at the end of that road, if you're in the middle row or the middle column, you're going to have a free exit, because nothing worse than like racing through a busy road and then hitting a tree and dying. But there's also again, if you're racing through a busy road, being in the middle means you can go left far, you can go right far to kind of save yourself, because sometimes you'll get caught in a traffic pattern that you're not expecting and kind of need to run away. I do deviate a little bit left and right to speed things up. Alright. Hopefully I don't miss increasing the character count. That's not automatic. I'm hitting that manually, so I don't want to do more than 100 if I don't have to. Yeah, so that's a basic strategy that hopefully is kind of obvious. It did take me a little bit of time to realize why that's a good idea. Let's see. Let's see, other strategy. So here, when two logs are going in the same direction, one after the other, I try to have them lined up before I jump onto the first one. So I kind of skip through them, because, like right here again, they're lined up before I made the jump. And that's just because if you're not paying attention, it's easy to not realize that you jumped on the one that's faster than the one behind it, and it's never going to catch up to the you know the log is racing away from the next one you need to jump on, and then you're kind of stuck in a position that's unwinnable. So I try to make sure that my next jump is safe. But sometimes you'll hit those situations kind of in the middle of a long section of logs. In that case, it's, you do your best. One recommendation I've seen online is always play with sound, but I actually never play with sound on. Even now I can't hear the audio, even though it's being piped to the recording. And that's usually because I'm listening to something else. I like to listen to podcasts when I play. Although if you're starting out, being able to hear when a train's coming or something can be good. Ooh, mishit there. Another basic strategy, and I don't know if it counts as a strategy so much as a skill, is being able to tap at the maximum rate. So being able to sprint essentially as fast as possible. There will always be sections where you need to go as fast as possible or else you'll die. So you need to know how to tap as quickly as possible and also be able to count properly how many taps you've made. Alright, the cow. And again, that's something that just comes with practice. Again, a lot of this game... actually, some of the fun of this game is that it's such a basic game. It's kind of that old 80s arcade feel where there's not a ton of rules, not a ton of strategy. You can hop right in and know what you're doing. But it's practice that makes you better. I'm gonna jinx myself, but haven't died yet. Pretty proud of myself. It's a good run so far. Again, that's probably going to decline as I go on and keep playing. Always nice to get a clearing. Alright. Big fat pig. Yeah, so trains usually aren't something to worry too much about. The warning time you get is usually enough where I feel pretty confident sitting on a train track that hasn't yet run. 17. Although something I learned by playing Psy, my initial assumption was that the train came once and didn't come back again, because if you're playing normal mode, you're usually not sticking around long enough for the train to come back, but when you play as Psy, you're going so slowly that that's when I learned that. Oh, Jesus. There's my first death. That was just me being stupid. Yeah, but when you play as Psy, trains actually become a big issue because they come back around again. I think they're on like a 10-second loop or 12-second loop, something like that. So normally when a train runs, when you play normal mode, like now it's safe. Like you can sit there as long as you need to until a gap opens up and you know, you can jump off it. But with Psy, you're taking so long to get through everything that it'll come back around again. So they're not safe spots. Alright. Yeah. Okay. So 1 death. Never expected to have a perfect score. That would be very impressive if somebody can do 100 points with 100 characters and not die once. I would love to see that video. Yeah, so when I play, I almost always play as just the basic chicken, because I don't like kind of the distractions that come with some of the other characters. You know, a lot of the basic ones, you know, from the original version of the game are, you know, there's nothing going on. And even here, this unicorn just has the tails, which isn't so bad, but, you know, you get something like the Dark Lord where the color scheme is different, there's stuff going on. You know, it can be fun to play, but it's just distracting, so I don't bother with it. Oh. And like I said, a skill you need to learn is to be able to count how many taps you've done when you do a very rapid tapping. You also notice sometimes if I go on a long run, I'll slow down before the last tap, but even then, sometimes I make mistakes. Yep. Another skill is being able to judge what kind of gap you can make it through with your character. Sometimes it seems like the gap is too narrow for your character to actually fit through, but you'd be surprised. Oh. Would have had 2 clearings in a row there. Alright. So this is character 20. Yeah, so if you're kind of new to the game, you'll notice there are red coins as well as yellow coins. That comes from buying the Piggy Bank character. I think it's the only character you have to buy. I'm trying to remember if you have to pay for Pac Man or not. And that's just red coins are worth 5, yellow coins are worth 1. And if you're just starting out and you're trying to unlock all the characters, you know, that really helps build up your coin count. As you can see, I have 50,000 coins because there's not really anything left for me to buy. I can't even play the lottery if I wanted to. Once you get all the characters, it doesn't prompt you to play the lottery anymore. Although whenever there's an update, I'm usually stocked enough to get every character from the lottery that's available without having to play around. I actually had over 60,000 coins just recently, but there's a new expansion a week or 2 ago. Actually, it might have been longer than that. I haven't played in a while. So I think that took me about 150 spins of the lottery or something like that. Ooh. Almost died there. Yeah. Pewdie Pig. Pewdie Pug. Alright. Oh, Doge. See, even this is just annoying. I don't know if it's enough to distract me to play worse, but yeah, again, I prefer the chicken. And yeah, if you're looking for a reference to center yourself, you go to the right of the train crossing signal. Alright. Yeah, this is annoying. Lucky cat. Ooh. Yeah, logs can be deceiving. Because Crossy Road kind of works on a grid. You know, there are, I think, 9 spots left or right you can land in. There's no in-between spots. And but logs are the same way in their own way. They're either 1, 2, or 3 spots wide, but as they move across, those grids don't line up with each other. So it's like a 2-width log you can't land in the middle of. You'll either get pushed to one side or the other, depending on what you're closer to. And the same thing happens when you jump off a log. If you're not exactly on a space on the grid, it'll push you to the nearest one. And so jumping across a string of logs quickly can be a little bit unpredictable, and then jumping off a log can also be unpredictable, knowing exactly what square you're going to land on. So that can be really annoying if you're jumping from a log to a road, especially if you're jumping into fast-moving traffic or you're trying to hit a small gap. So for the most part, I try not to skip across logs too fast. If you watch, there'll be moments here where I'm jumping across a lot of logs very quickly. It'll kind of kick you around a little bit in a little bit unpredictable ways. Just because, yeah, you can see there, like I didn't jump straight across. I kind of jogged left, jogged right, and that's just because you have to land somewhere on the grid. You can't land in between. So actually, a lot of times when I jump onto a log, I'll usually do it in a way to, I'll aim for one end of a log so that I know where I'm jumping onto. It doesn't kick me around. Yeah, they kind of phoned these in. The brown bunny looks a lot like the gray bunny, looks a lot like the pink bunny. These, the ones that came with the original update, not especially creative. Oof, I cut that one close. All right. Oh, sorry, lovely bunny, not pink bunny. On their little hearts. Again, I almost always play as chickens, so I kind of forget what these other characters are sometimes. What exactly they do. Alright. Up to 30. Capybara. Sometimes I'll jump farther than I should without looking at what's coming up, so I have to backtrack. That's a good piece of strategy, is again, something that just comes with practice, is knowing when to jump backwards, or even realizing that going backwards is an option. I know when I was starting out, the thought is, oh, just push ahead, or maybe go sideways, but a lot of times going backwards will be your best option. You just have to train yourself to know that, when that's the best option. Like right there. I would not have made that line if I had sprinted. We get 4 frogs that are all kind of the same. Actually, maybe they sound different. Again, I never play with sound, so I always forget what these sound like. Desert frog. I like that there are animals, if you jump in the water, they'll kill you. It'll kill you, even though they're water animals. Like frogs, you would think could survive water just fine. I like the hipster whale. Oh well. Yeah, I almost never, when I'm normally playing, like especially when the difficulty gets higher as you go on, I almost never jump directly across a log to a lily pad, again because of that. There's a chance that you'll get jogged left or right, but you know, I'm only playing up to 100 when things are moving kind of slow, so I'm less worried about that. Usually I'll try to jump, you know, when the log is one away from the lily pad, let it move in, you know, I know where my character is centered, and then make that jump. Oh, jeez. That's death number 3. Didn't expect that. So yeah, right here you can see I'm lining myself up for one before, and here again, one before the lily pad, let it move in, and then make the jump. And you can also see right there I line myself up for the end of the log before making the jump, just so I know where I was landing. Let it... Oh my gosh. I mistapped there. I thought I had jumped. No, it's even worse when you're right near 100. Oh, 2 deaths on the same character too. That is embarrassing. 3 deaths on the same character. Oh, okay. I have not been playing long enough to make the excuse that I'm tired. Just getting sloppy. Okay, good. Alright. Penguin. Change of scenery here. Good little sprint run there. It's nice when cars line up. Floppy fish. This is one of my least favorites. The ones that rotate as you move are just unsettling. Not unsettling. I like clear delineations of when you've jumped or not, and having it spin can kind of throw me off. I'm eventually going to get to the snail. It's my least favorite because it doesn't even jump. It just kind of slides. Messes with my brain, my timing. All right. Fast forward is. Yeah, Swiss snail. It just has such a different emotion on screen, it just messes with me. Yeah, so like I said at the beginning, this kind of came out of the idea of possibly doing like speed runs instead of just going for a high score. It'd be kind of nice if there was a larger Crossy Road community somewhere, some organized Crossy Road community. There's a subreddit. It doesn't see much action, and there's a wiki that again doesn't get a ton of, like, the forums aren't especially active. It'd be kind of fun to do challenges like that where, fastest time to 200, 5 times in a row or something like that. Or 400 or 500, whatever. I guess that's getting to the point where not everybody can hit 500 consistently. Yeah, because 100, well, if you're doing 100 of them, that takes a while. Again, this is probably going to take me about 2 hours. But, doing it just a few times is really quick. It's the 100-meter dash of Crossy Road time. Doing 100 of them. I guess like 800 would be the long distance one. Do that a couple times. Because there, dying would be a serious, trying to do 800 2 times in a row is a bit of a challenge. So in that case, probably it'd be less about about how fast you did the 800, and it's more about how long does it take you to do 800 once and then 800 again. And yeah, so my high score is about 1400, but I probably break 800 once every 5 or 6 times I play. So it would take a while. I haven't actually tried timing myself doing it twice in a row or something. But it is kind of fun to try to do 100 as fast as possible. It's a different way of playing the game. Because here I'm trying to go kind of quick, but I'm not going as quick as I can just because it leads to mistakes. But if you're if you do 100 just 3 times in a row and are willing to die a few times trying to achieve it, you can really push things. I guess if you're serious about Crossy Road, it's a nice exercise in trying to get your game better. Trying to push yourself as fast as possible. Although, admitting that you're serious about Crossy Road is a little embarrassing. So I don't tell people. I don't use my real name. Baller. The one black character in the game. He's the one playing basketball. Great job, Hipster Well. Is that true? I'm trying to think if there's other black characters in the game. I can't think of any. Ooh, cut those close too. I guess there just aren't a lot of human characters in general. But still. Oh. I think now we're stepping into characters that mess with the environment a bit more. This one isn't so bad, just lightning bolts, trees and stuff. Oh yeah, Dark Lord. So this is, can't remember which one, but this is one of the game developers' favorite characters. If you get a high score or a great score, which is like getting within 90% of your high score, playing as the Dark Lord, you can unlock whichever developer that is as a playable character. I think there's 3 of them that are like that. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. I could have saved myself. That was not good. Yeah, if I remember right, the Mallard was one of the other ones, and I think the Unlucky Cat was the 3rd one. If you get high scores with any of those 3, you unlock one of the developers. Which I don't remember if... I think it was Unlucky Cat. It's been a while since I've tried to unlock any characters. Yeah. They start really start messing with the environment. Yeah, especially if you want to play fast, not being able to see too far ahead of you is kind of annoying. At least you can see the railroad crossing signals pretty well. There'll be a couple characters where it's a little hard to distinguish when the lights are on. So this is pretty much the same as the Gravedigger, but as a ghost. Ooh, cop car. Yeah, cop car. That one passed by before I got there, but the way to spot when those are coming is when you see. So every lane of traffic, you should be able to see at least one car somewhere on it, at least when you're playing in landscape mode. But if you see a lane of traffic where there aren't any cars, that means that a cop car is primed to come, and it's like the train where, you know, it's kind of randomly shows up at a certain time. And fortunately, well, on the one hand, the warning is, oh, this is really annoying too. The warning is shorter on the cop car compared to the train, so you have less time to get out of the way. But cop cars are variable speed. Sometimes they come really fast, like almost train speed, but other times they're barely moving faster than like fast traffic, so they're not actually that bad. Oh, I hate the bat's almost worse than the snail, because it kind of feels like you're a step behind before you really are. Okay, good. Frankenstein. Yeah, when it goes black and white, I think, if I remember right, these are where the train crossings get really annoying. Because they're hard to see when the lights are on. Yeah, you can barely tell that there was a light there. It's just that the signal raised. When I was starting out, I played on random character mode, but again, just like the consistency of the basic game. Zombie. This is character number 50. That's nice. Alright, halfway there. I am making pretty good time. I'm averaging less than a minute per character, which is faster than I've ever done it. Only 6 deaths. Again, though, I'm probably going to start dying more often as the time goes on. It's just way too much. Crossy Road in a row. Rusty robots. Yeah, unfortunately, again, because I'm only playing to 100 and then killing myself, you're not seeing a lot of the strategy. Or again, it might not even count as strategy, but what the game looks like when you get to the, the game gets harder as you go on. So stuff like jumping across a lot of lanes of traffic when the traffic is going fast. There's strategy there. Like I like to look for if you've got like 12 or 15 lanes of traffic in a row that are all moving kind of fast, I like to look for the slow-moving car lane within there, because there will usually be, you know, there might be 5 really fast lanes, but then there'll be one that moves pretty slow. And, you know, I aim for that and treat it almost like the closest thing to a rest spot, you know, a strip of grass. Because even, like, kind of marching sideways along with the car, as long as it's going slowly, is almost as good as having a rest, at least when you're far enough along in the game. And as you move along, you also, yeah. So basically everything moves a little faster, and everything gets more in a row. So, you know, it's pretty rare to see, you know, in the first 100 getting, you know, more than like 5 rows of logs in a row. But once you get up near 1,000, you'll see, you know, 15 or 20 in a row. And again, they'll be moving faster than when there were only 3. Same thing with traffic. Another thing you'll see a lot of. So if you've been playing a little bit, you'll notice that there are a few different types of obstacles. So there's roads, trains, grass, and I guess clearings, which are those, you know, empty stretches that you'll see sometimes. I've hit a few of them already. Those are their own things. Those aren't stretches of grasses. They're always the same size. But there's another thing which doesn't seem distinct, but when you get later on in the game, you'll notice that they are distinct, and it's trains and roads. And you'll get long stretches of, you know, a train track or 2, followed by, you know, 1 or 2 lanes of road, you know, alternating back and forth, and you'll get like 30 of those in a row. And again, that's something you'll see a little bit of this early on in the game. You might get like train track road, train track road, train track, but it's actually a distinct thing. Or in terms of how the game randomly generates the map, it's its own thing. I'm assuming. I you know, it's not like I've looked at the code, but just from playing enough. So yeah, we're past the characters that came with the original version of the game, and now we are into the Australian update. So we've got, you know, this kind of outback landscape, and you also see the crocodiles. Crocodiles? I don't know if Australia has crocodiles or alligators. Where, you know, those are annoying because if you jump on the mouth, it'll eat you. So you can't jump on what looks like the front end of the crocodile. So they're not quite as long as they actually are. They're also drop bears. If you get too close, you'll see what looks like a koala bear in a tree. If you get too close, it'll jump down and kill you. Although I think they're also a playable character. I think you unlock the drop bear by getting killed by a drop bear. Which are just like a running Australian urban legend joke they like to play on foreigners. Yeah. Yeah, another skill, maybe it's just me, is getting comfortable sitting in traffic. Like knowing that your lane is safe for the moment, even if cars in the other lanes are speeding past you. Wombat. Yeah, this might have been the first update. I can't remember. Actually, no. I didn't get the game until a few updates in, so I don't even remember. Or I wasn't even there when they were released. I assume because they appear first, that they were the first update. I think one of the developers. I'm trying to remember where the development team is from. Oh shoot! I meant to move sideways. That's another skill. Not when you move sideways, not accidentally just tapping. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure the development team is an American, or at least not all American. So I think one of them might be Australian. I might be making stuff up. Alright. Koala. Oops. There's a case where I did not wait for the logs to be lined up when I jumped. Although it wasn't that big of a deal. Alright, character 60. I didn't realize the cockatoo was Australian. Interesting. Oh, that's annoying. Birds flying over. Half of my comments on these characters is just me not being any fun. Just being annoyed. See, this is a clearing, like I said. They're always this size. I don't know if there's an official name for them. I call them clearings. I don't know, is there official documentation to this game? I see some stuff on the wiki. I think the wiki calls, I call them characters, they call them mascots. I don't actually know what the official term is. Alright, now we are moving on to the, I think this is the Chinese New Year update. So this is She. I used to know what all these characters were. I think this is like some sort of Chinese folklore thing. And, yeah. Yeah, you can see those Chinese symbols on the ground there. Those are envelopes. If you collect enough of those, you unlock a character. Actually, you might unlock she. Actually, I don't remember. Oh, the dress. Remember that? Yeah, I can't believe they made a character out of this, out of something that was all the rage for about a week, and then everybody forgot about. Yeah. If you do play with this character, though, half the time when it starts up, she's black and blue, the dress, and the other half of the time it's was it gold and white? I can't even remember what the story behind the dress was. Like, depending on how you looked at it, or like half the people who saw it saw a blue and black dress, the other half saw, I think it was white and gold. Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Llama. I like this one. I've seen that there's a challenge. How long can you keep the back llama alive? You know, how far can you jump? I tried that for a while. Not for much, like for a couple hours I was playing to see how long I could do that. I think I got up to like 60. It's surprisingly hard to do. Like if you jump too fast, you end up putting a gap between yourself, and then like trying to jump over logs, you know, one of you moves one way, one of you moves the other way. It's really hard to do. But again, I'm doing this, so I like to create stupid challenges. Butterfly. Oh, yeah, this is like the bat. It's a little annoying. Just, again, anything that messes with the jump pattern kind of throws me off. Again, me complaining. Well, I think now we are into the UK-Ireland update. So this is grassy, and I guess every once in a while or randomly when you play it'll be raining instead of not raining, because I guess it rains a lot in the UK. Alright, 2/3 of the way through the game. Nope. I don't know why the badger is a UK character. We have those in the US. Wisconsin is the badger state. Guess they're nocturnals. Guess that's why it's playing at night. Oh. Another case of trying to move sideways and accidentally tapping. Alright. Yeah. Just gotta learn to be clear with your motion of moving left or right. There we go. Ugh. Oh, that was me trying to move sideways and accidentally moving backwards. At least it didn't. At least it didn't kill me. Squirrel. Yep. So you can see here the rain, which randomly will come up. So this is one where, yeah, you can see an acorn right here, and you can pick up a bunch of them. You'll actually they'll get stacked up on you as you go on. I think, if I remember right, you can unlock somebody if you stack up enough. If you stack up enough acorns on yourself, you'll see like what's supposed to be, I think, a rugby ball in a tree, and that'll unlock rugby player. I think that's the one that does this. I like that this guy moves backwards and sideways without turning. Nice little sprint there. Yeah, sometimes you get logs that move the same pace as the car, you know, on the road that you're jumping onto, and there's just nothing you can do except move back, get onto another log, and try again. Although, what's really bad is when that happens a couple times in a row. You know, there's a log moving the same pace as a car, so you can't get off. So you move backwards, slide over, get on the next one, and it's the same thing. You know, that's one of those deaths where it's like, it's not my fault. It's just bad luck. Oop. Kind of glad I don't have the sound on for this one. Bagpipes. Shoot. I still could have done that. That was dumb. Getting sloppy. We're up to 9 deaths. That's not too bad. Ooh. Yeah, this is another black and white one, or it's hard to tell when the train signal goes off. Although again, maybe this is why I should play with sound. I wouldn't need the visual cue. Fancy gent. Oh. Same idea as the last one, except a gentleman instead of a lady. Alright, 3/4 of the way there. Oh, there's Nessie. If you jump on Nessie for the first time, you unlock the Nessie as a playable character, the Loch Ness Monster. It's kind of like Hipster Whale has an unlockable character. And actually, the newest update has another one like that. I don't remember the character name. Or even if... I don't know if that one's within the first 100. It might be. I think the general order, actually, now that I think about it, is it goes to chickens, and then everything you can win in the lottery, and then it goes to characters you have to do something special to unlock. So I don't think we'll actually get to it. But we'll see. Oh, jeez. It just started raining outside in real life here. I can hear the rain falling. It really wants me to buy a Crossy Road shirt. Comes up with a prompt every time. Alright, so this is the Korean update. Again, the big one with this was Psy as an unlockable character. Actually, you don't unlock him. I think you just go into the character selection screen and you can download him, because it's a new game mode. It's not something that just comes by default. You have to specially download it. And here's a clearing. That's always nice. If you're trying to Keep your speed up. Jindo. Kimchi. Alright, 4/5 of the way there. The end is in sight. Yeah. So they've done a lot of country-themed updates. Seems like about half of their updates were country-themed. They had Australia, they had UK and Ireland. This is the Korean one. I don't know if... I guess Chinese New Year doesn't count as China. I guess that's just a holiday. I saw rumors on the Crossy Road Wikia that they were planning an American update, but I haven't seen that yet. Yeah, a few of the other updates are related to other games that Hipster Well have produced, like the Pac Man one. The most recent update, I think, was related to a game they're just about to release, or just released. Could be wrong about that. I want to say like the milk carton character is related to a game they released, but I don't remember. Oh, went too far. Yeah, I guess, yeah, country themed, other game themed, and then holiday themed. So I guess Chinese New Year, there's Christmas, it's like a Halloween kind of spooky one. Again, actually, I'm not sure. I took a couple months off playing. Oh shoot, that was me trying to slide sideways again and jumping forwards. So again, I took about 2 months off recently, so I'm not sure if this was two separate updates or if it was one kind of joint update where it was kind of spooky Halloween stuff and then this other game-related update. Yeah, I thought it would take me a while to get back into the game, but I think I've broken 1,000 like 5 times in the past couple weeks since I started playing again, and I'd only done it a couple times before that, so feeling pretty good. again, I just broke my record recently, up to 1,400. So I guess 1,500 is the next landmark to break. Yeah, when you start getting scores that high, what I've noticed is that, you know, when I was starting out, you know, when my scores were in the few hundreds, it'd be like I'd break my record by 30, or, you know, 20 or 30 at a time. But when scores get that high, again, I mentioned this before, where, you know, instead of having, you know, here 3 logs in a row, or, you know, 3 water. Oh shoot, got to talking. Instead of having like 3 logs in a row, you'll have 20 logs in a row or 30 logs in a row. You know, instead of having a couple train tracks in a row, you'll have stretches of 10. And something like a stretch of a dozen train tracks, you basically can just sprint your way through, unless you get unlucky and one of them lights up before you even approach it. You know, a lot of these are triggered when you start getting close to them, so if you sprint through them, they won't have time to be triggered to get you, so you can just like hop really fast through them, you know, build up your score by, you know, 25 in one pass. You know, logs, they take a little while, but for me at least, they're not, I don't usually die on them. Also, the alternating train tracks, road stretches, for me at least, are pretty easy. You know, you kind of wait for a train track to free up. That's where you can kind of rest for a second, jump across the traffic that usually at that point is moving very fast, but you'll jump to somewhere safe, and you just kind of repeat that process, kind of grinding your way through. So for me, the really difficult parts, the parts where I usually end up dying, is when you get a stretch of a lot of roads, you know, a lot of cars in a row. But those don't come up as often. You know, the stretches are longer, but the gaps between reaching those stretches are longer, so you can build up, you know, 50 points before you see another stretch of road, or even more than that sometimes. So yeah, so my old record again was about 1250, and then my next high score was 1400. Like, I broke my record by over 150. And when I got 1250, I think I'd broken my record by, you know, over 100. You know, just, you get large jumps in your score. Oh, this one goes back to another game of theirs, I think, like Disco Zoo or something. Forgot about this one. When I see the screen flash like that, I assume I had just died. But no. Oh, getting sloppy. Hopefully I can finish strong. It'd be cool if I could average less than a minute per character. I haven't done that yet. And again, it's usually because around the end I start dying more often and just kind of slow down. But I'm on pace at the moment. If I don't... Oh, this certainly helps here. Hipster oil. I think this is another game of theirs, actually, framed. maybe it's not their game, maybe they're cross-promoting or something. I don't know. I'm not actually much of a mobile gamer except for this game. Actually, just a gamer at all. I saw a friend of mine playing this once, and I had some time to kill, so I downloaded it myself, and kind of got addicted to it. That was about a year ago. Yeah, part of me wishes that the game kept records of, you know, how many times you've played, how many points you've earned total, you know, those kind of stats, but part of me is glad that they don't, because I'd probably be embarrassed at how many times I've played. And I think this is another game of theirs, Bag It. So this must be the stretch of cross-promotion characters. Oh, that was me trying to move sideways and move backwards. Oh, I'm going to be cutting it close if I want to do a minute per character. Oh, come on. Just getting sloppy. I don't know what this relates to. A lot of mailboxes. Well, they might have done, because there's Archie and Jughead are unlockable characters. I think that have these same, like, there's hamburgers around and mailboxes. So I wonder if they did like an Archie comics game. I have no idea how Archie comics are still around, but maybe it was a cross promotion for just the comics. I don't know. Maybe there are kids who read Archie comics. I don't know. You see them at the grocery store checkout line all the time. I don't think I personally knew anybody who ever read them, but somebody must be. They're still printing them. Maybe adults who were kids in the 50s are still keeping up. Don't know what this one relates to. This might be one of the new ones, actually. I don't recognize Skip. Although wait, I was wrong, there is another black character. Yeah, I think this is the new update. This isn't. Is it? This might have been a couple updates ago. There was a period there where I just kind of stopped paying attention. But I don't actually remember these. Like African animals, I guess? Gazelles and giraffes. Getting real close to the end here. Yeah, zebra. Maybe they did an African update. Oh, they didn't change the landscape from the default. You think they would do that? Yeah, clearing. Oh, this one. Yeah, this is the new update. This is real. The first time I saw this is really disorienting. Having the screen tilted so much. It's just so different. I also hate updates that have tall buildings that, you know, kind of cover your field of view. Again, most of my commentary is just me complaining about things. I'm sorry. It makes it hard to see the right side of the screen, though. Stuff coming out of it makes it a little bit harder. Like, you can see stuff from the left side of the screen really well. Actually, maybe in this case, well, you know, the middle is always going to be clear, but for being able to see stuff, maybe playing one or two columns up might not be a bad strategy for this update. Ah, shoot. Yeah, this is the first update where they do this, where they actually change kind of the basic look of the game, or the geometry of the game, essentially. It's kind of cool. Alright, 4 to go. Oh. The color scheme changed. I actually haven't played with almost any of these characters. You have to play as one of them. One of the characters in this update you have to unlock. So I played with one of them, but I didn't know that they had like different color schemes depending on who you played with. That is interesting. Oh. Yeah, again, stuff from the bottom right kind of can take you by surprise just because of the angle of the screen. Oh, I already had 100. Very good. Okay. Oh, jeez. This is like the snail, where he slides instead of jumps. After playing that other tilted map, this feels so flat. Just the way the road is lined up. Again, that was me trying to move sideways and I didn't. Oh, I just might miss it. I still might be able to break 140. It's gonna be close. If I don't die, I think I'll do it. Alright, 2 to go. Oh, all these characters are like this. This might be, again, cross motion for another game that I don't know about. I had to end with these. The motion I don't care for. Last one, 100 out of 100. Rattles. I suppose at this point, there's 126 characters total. I've gone this far, I could just do them all, but I really don't want to. Okay, stuff's going on screen that I don't understand. This is referencing something I don't know. Alright, there it is. Crossy Road Marathon. Stop the timer. 1:39:42. Oh, that's a lot faster than I expected. So here are the other characters. No, I just counted 32. Did I double click? Did I double click the up character count? Oh, shoot. Maybe I only did 97. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I might need to do 3 more. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, so I'm going to do this one. 3.1, Shooty Cat, Hootie. I really like my time. Just in case. Just to be confident that I actually did hit 100. Alright, so I'm going to restart the clock. Start with 3.1. And go for it. Maybe I increased the count of the characters I played with instead of hitting my deaths. I don't know. Oh, shoot. Now they're trying to move sideways and I move backwards. Killing my time. Alright. So now 2 more to go, I guess? Let's see. I guess you'll already know which is correct, because I'll have in the video description, I'll go back and count how many I actually did. Not sure if I'm actually going to go through and watch this entire video again, but I can at least go through and count what the first 100 characters are. And if you made it all the way through this video, congratulations. I'm sure it was incredibly boring and that my commentary was not very fun. Alright. Okay, Hootie. Possibly number 100. Or 103. "14 deaths, that's actually not too bad. Again, last time I tried this, I think I had over 20. I didn't have a counter at that time. Maybe it was only 16 or 17. Maybe I'm pretty much on par, but I'm going faster than this is a faster time than last time I did this, so I think I died less this time. Alright. Alright, there it is. 143.01. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Hopefully I actually did 100. Alright, Crossy Road Marathon.